It is Tuesday, February 5th, 2 days after the Super Bowl. And what happened? My team. I said it all for the 2 weeks. I was humble for 2 weeks, and I eat a taste of the humble pie because my team just won their sixth. And that's right, their sixth Super Bowl championship. The New England Patriots once again on the top of Mount Everest. They are on top, and they are the best team in football, and they beat the best team in football, not offensively, but defensively, dominating the Los Angeles Rams. For G&T Sports Talk, I am proud Patriots fan Bobby Thompson.
I'm Julian, and yes, I lost the bet. Let's get it out of the way now. Everyone make fun of me, feel free. I'm the asshole wearing the Tom Brady jersey.
I love it. You look good in the Tom Brady jersey.
I hate this jersey. It's sick. I can't wait to get rid of this as soon as the show ends. It's going back to Bobby where it belongs. This does not belong on me. I hate this. This is gross. Jets fans, we'll be back next year hopefully, but this is all about the Patriots, sadly. And they won the sixth Super Bowl. I gotta give credit where credit's due. As much as I hate them, they got it done again. The dynasty is still here, as they say. 6 championships in 18 years. Can't deny that. 9 Super Bowl appearances in 18 years. Jeez, give us a break, man.
No, we're not giving you a break. Let me tell you something about this Super Bowl. This Super Bowl didn't start off the way people thought it was going to happen. We thought we'd see top offenses. Listen, the Rams...
Fell asleep at the wheel.
Yes. They averaged this season, they were second in the NFL. They scored 32.9 points per game. And then this game, they couldn't even... They could not get... They never got to the red zone. Never.
Yeah.
Who would have ever thought that? Sean McVay said it himself. He got out-coached by the best coach in any sport. That's what happened. He got out-coached. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
And let me tell you something. The Patriots defense, I have never, in my 26 years of being a Patriots fan, the only time I've seen them that dominant was 2001. I thought the 2001 defense was the best defense the Patriots have ever had. But in the Super Bowl, the Patriots defense played the same way they played all 3 games. They got after the quarterback. What was the knock? Last year, the Patriots defense, I'm going to be honest with you, Jules, and you could agree with me. When you don't have Dante Hightower there's a problem. And you saw him in the Super Bowl. He was so dominant. Not only was he knocking Jared Goff back on his young ass every play, he had an interception almost. He dropped an interception to start the second half.
Right.
He destroyed Whitworth and Havenstein, whoever the hell the other guy name is, destroyed him. Jared Goff every time was on his ass. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You know who, in my opinion, on defense, I'm going to credit some defenders. Kyle Van Noy is one of the most underrated linebackers I have ever seen in my life. And I'm not just trying to be biased. He really is. He bought into what we do. Listen, when he was on the Lions, you never heard about this guy. He was used on special teams, maybe if there was an injury, but he came over to us in a trade in 2016, won a Super Bowl. His 3 years so far with New England, he's been to the Super Bowl every year. He's got 2 rings right now. What does he do? He comes in, and he's productive. He gets after the quarterback. He covers the running backs out of the backfield, and he does it very well. Now, I'm going to tell you this. The Patriots linebackers get the credit and the defensive line because they set the tone in this game. It was not the Rams' defensive line that set the tone. It was New England's defense that set the tone. And Stephon Gilmore, the 5-year, $65 million man, $40 million guaranteed, money well spent. This man, and I don't care what anyone tells me, I will sit here at this table and argue with anybody. Stephon Gilmore is, without a doubt, and he's proven it, the best cover corner in football right now. It's not Jalen Ramsey. It's not Josh Norman. It's not Richard Sherman anymore.
Oh, no, definitely not.
It is not Patrick Peterson.
No.
It is Stephon Gilmore. That's who it is. He covers receivers in and out. This year he got bitched once, and that's by Corey Davis, rightfully so. And I'll be the man to admit it, and so will he. Stephon Gilmore, what has he done in the playoffs? You target him. What is he going to let? I think in the playoffs this year, I think Jules in 3 games, you know how many catches he let up?
How many?
I think 5 or 6.
Well,
that's it.
Yeah, he clearly...
He destroyed Cooks.
Yeah.
Cooks could not do anything on him. And this was one-on-one coverage.
Yeah, I mean, I have to bow down to Gilmore at this point. I'd love to argue you, but honestly, after what I just saw, I can't argue that point. There's other things I'd like to argue with you, but Gilmore has a claim to be the best corner in the league right now. As much as I hate to say it, all the evidence is there. The coverage skills are there. This guy's been shut down. He was a big part of the reason why you guys won the Super Bowl.
That clinch interception of Goff.
Yes, that we'll get to, of course. That was a horrible throw, of course, but Gilmore was there to make the play. But the thing is that, here's the question I have for you, actually.
What's up, brother?
It's actually about the MVP and Edelman, which is a nice debate we'll get into as well, but I actually wanted to go through a little recap quickly of what happened. It was very easy and short, but here's my question for you, brother. Do you really think that Edelman was deserving of the MVP, or do you think they should have given this to someone like Gilmore or Hightower? Because that defense was so dominant. Like, you could have really had a defensive MVP. There was no scoring. It would have been the first since Von Miller, which is the correct answer. It's definitely Von Miller was the last defensive MVP. Before him, it was Malcolm Smith. So I think you could have made the case that they were more deserving than Edelman. I know Edelman played great, but your defense won that game.
Well, I'm going to say this right now. Listen, Julian Edelman played a tremendous game. Out of 12 targets, he had 10 catches for $140, $141. Bless you. He had 10 for $141. He was literally, him and Gronk were the only reason the Patriots were moving the ball, and Sony Michel running, and we'll get to that in a minute. However, anybody else on the Patriots receiving corps, Chris Hogan, Dorsett. I know Patterson had 1 catch, but nobody else showed up. And Julian Edelman. But listen, in my opinion, if you ask me, I would have given it to Hightower.
Okay.
Or I would have given it to Gilmore.
Yeah.
I think that, and honestly, you know what I would have done? I would have given the Patriots linebacking core the MVP.
Wow.
I would have voted.
I mean,
the Patriots linebackers and defensive line set the tone. You saw how soon-to-be free agent Trey Flowers, the D-end, and he better not go anywhere.
J-E-T-S.
No, he's not going.
Jets.
He's not going anywhere. He's staying with us.
You guys don't like to pay your players. You might let them walk.
We don't like to pay our players. We pay Gilmore, and I think you're going to see Belichick's changed. He'll spend money.
What's your cap situation? Do you realize how do you see everything going? Like,
how do I see
who's staying? Who's leaving?
Okay.
I'll get into some of that too.
So,
also, what do you think about Gronk? I'll get to later, but I guess we could get to your cap situation. What you realistically think the market for Trey Flowers will be, since you went down that road, and obviously I'm very interested in possibly having him play for us because we need pass rushers. But good news for us Jet fans, and yes, I'm still a Jets fan despite this hideous jersey I'm wearing. Leonard Williams won't be traded. That was reported today, which makes me very happy because that would have been dumb in my opinion. He was a top 6 pick. You keep guys like that. You don't trade guys like that. You just got to get him more help and see what he can do. I know he's been underwhelming, but I still think there's better football in Leonard Williams. I'd like to see him with some more DNs to help him get some more open space instead of getting the bulk of the attention on the offensive blocking schemes, which he would obviously right now since the Jets don't have any other pass rushers really. So also news with the Jets that Bobby informed me about, and I'm sure all Jet fans won't mind hearing. Spencer Long has been cut. He was garbage. I'm not going to sugarcoat this. He was horrendous. He almost got Sam Darnold killed in Miami. Literally, I'm not even making this up. He caused Darnold to injure his foot reaching for the snap that was at his foot because Spencer Long had hurt his finger and his snaps were all over the place. Todd Bowles, the incompetent coach that he was, just let him go through like the whole game basically until finally pulling him in the fourth quarter. Mind you, this is a 3-3 game for most of the game you're in it. Despite how bad Spencer Long was playing, the Jets very well should have won that game. If they had addressed the situation earlier, they could have. Also, that was the breaking point to their season. That put them to a 3-6 record, I want to say, or 3. I believe, yes, that put them to 3-6 or 3-5, I believe. So that was the turning point for the Jets season right there. That's when everything went all downhill. ever since 3-3, they never recovered. They only won one more game. So, but enough about the Jets for now. We'll get to them later. So what's the situation with Flowers and your cap, and how do you see the offseason going?
So the Patriots cap on Twitter, there is a guy, his name is Miguel, and he is a genius. He runs a Twitter account called Pat's Cap, and he really keeps Patriots fans informed about everything.
Okay.
He answered all our questions. We have $18.1 million in cap space as
Pretty
of right
slim,
now.
brother.
So it's extremely slim. But if you know Bill Belichick, he said getting cap space won't be a problem. I see him working some deals. If Gronkowski retires, that's $9 million off. So add 9 to that. There's 27. If Devin McCourty retires, and I'm telling you this, if he retires, I will be one furious man because we need him and bring back his twin brother because he made some pretty big plays. So I'm going to say this right now, though. I'll say they could get to at least $30 million. And you see all these. I'm going to read it off right now. Free agents for the New England Patriots right now. They got a bunch of them.
I see.
Kicker Steven Gostkowski.
You'll bring him back.
Cordell Patterson. Chris Hogan, Jason McCourty, Danny Sheldon, Philip Dorsett, Ryan Allen, the punter, Malcolm Brown, D tackle, Adrian Waddle, the right tackle, Eric Rowe, corner. He's gone. John Simon, who played it big in the Super Bowl. Ramon Humber, who was a Bill, who was a Buffalo Bill. He was I forgot what other teams he was with. He's special teamer. He did a good job. Brian Swanky, Josh Gordon's a restricted free agent. Albert McClellan, Aldrich John, a left tackle. Trey Flowers, the big one. Trent Brown, that's the big one.
I've heard we might want him too, actually.
Jonathan Jones, restricted free agent. Cody Hollister, David Perry, and Jake Aldrinkamp. All right, out of everybody on this kit, I'm going to go one through one real fast. Steven Gostkowski, that's a no-brainer. You got to bring the guy back. Cordell Patterson, you really got to think about this. And let me tell you something. As a kick returner, he played exceptionally well for New England, and he really, with those end arounds, those gadget plays, he really played a big. So maybe I think Chris Hogan. I hate to say it, I believe he's gone. I think he's good as gone.
I would see.
I think that he was phased out late last year. This year he was a non-factor.
You guys don't need him at all. Let's be honest.
And the Patriots are trying to go younger at receiver. And through the draft, if you haven't noticed, there's quite a great receiving class.
And you have 12 draft picks, which is another thing that makes you sick. But.
So Jason McCourty, I think in a no-brainer, bring him back. He was tremendous. He could play if J.C. Jackson gets hurt. He could come on in, but he could start at that second corner other than Stephon Gilmore.
I guess the one thing I would ask is that if his brother goes, would he go too?
I don't think so.
You don't think they're tied together?
No.
You think Devin McCourty has different plans?
Devin McCourty has 1 year left on his deal. I think he plays that out, and I think he's done after this. So.
Okay, well, we'll see. Maybe.
They're 20. They're 30. They're going to be 33 this year, so they're up there. So.
Yeah, so maybe that's why it could be possible. Maybe.
So Danny Sheldon played great in the Super Bowl, and if you didn't know that, he had a huge stop on Gurley at one point for a loss about 3 or 4 yards.
I saw that play, yeah.
Danny Sheldon, when he was playing, because there were a few games he was a healthy scratch, let me tell you something. This guy was a hole in the clock, in a big hole, stopped the run. He did very well. We averaged 4.4 yards, rushing yards per carry allowed when he was there, and when he wasn't there, we allowed 7.8. With him and Malcolm Brown are both free agents. I think you got to pay one, and in my opinion, you're going to pay Malcolm Brown. I think Malcolm Brown brings more to the table.
Okay.
Philip Dorsett, you could get him cheap. Get him cheap on like a 2-year, $2.5 million deal. Bring him back. The guy's got speed. You see what he can do. Ryan Allen's the left-footed punter. Bill Belichick loves left-footed punters. He's coming back. That's not even a question. He'll be signed within the next few days. Let Adrian Waddle a backup. Give him a 1-2 year deal, league minimum. That's all he's going to get. Eric Rowe, get him the hell out of here. He's garbage. John Simon, why not? Bring him back on a 1-year deal. The guy played great. He comes in, he gets to the quarterback, he brings pressure. He had a big tip in the Super Bowl in the first half. If you didn't know that, his tip, if it wasn't tipped, it would have been picked off by Devin McCourty. So Ramon Humber, for special team purposes, he's 32 years old, and give him a pass. Brian Swanky, get him out of here. Josh Gordon, restricted free agent. He'll be back by camp. You better re-sign this man. He's not going anywhere.
I don't know if he'll be back, dude. I mean,
no, you haven't heard?
Yeah, but you still got to see how everything plays out. If he actually does everything he's supposed to do, they could say a bunch of things, but until he's actually back with you guys, I'm not buying it.
So So I'm going to
That's
say
another
come back.
story for another day.
Albert McClellan's 33. We don't need him. Aldrich John, we don't need him. Trey Flowers, you bet your sweet ass he better come back.
Jets.
And you got to pay him. You got to pay him high. This guy is an underrated pass rusher. He sets the edge. He really is a Patriot prototype. He's not going anywhere, and Bill Belichick will make sure of this.
Question with Flowers: how many sacks in the regular season? How many sacks in the playoffs?
In the playoffs, I think he had like 2.
Okay.
But in the regular season, he got like 7 or 8.
Okay.
He's not a big sack guy, but he makes a lot of tackles and gets a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And in New England, listen, if you're not going to get sacks, you got to cause pressure,
right.
And that's just as good. So bring him back, Trent Brown.
That's a big one too.
6'8", 26-year-old, 380-pound monster who we got for a chunk of grain from the San Francisco 49ers.
Nice.
Has been nothing.
Good job, Sam.
Has been absolutely nothing but success.
How do you guys always do this? How do you just find these players and turn them into players?
Listen,
you guys take other people's scraps and you turn them into contributing members of the Patriots.
Earlier this year,
I'm so sick of this. Like, this happens all the time. How are all these garbage players coming to you and becoming good football players? I don't get it. It's annoying.
It's about one thing, Bill Belichick and his scouting team. So, so with him, he better be back. He protected Tom Brady. Tom Brady in the playoffs, guess how many times he sacked? Once.
They
Just
finally got him
once.
one time, and it didn't even matter.
So you're telling me, how many dropbacks, he was sacked one
I'm going to guess
time.
close to 100 dropbacks
One
at least.
time.
Maybe even more.
Tremendous.
Ridiculous.
If it was like this in the Super Bowl against the Giants in 2007, we would have a banner that says undefeated season. I'm not getting into that.
At least that's
Trent Brown, he better get paid. Give the guy his money. He deserves it.
We're a threat for Trent Brown. We know we need linemen, and you know we got paper, so I'm sure you're nervous.
Jonathan, anytime the Jets have cap space, it seems to be when the Patriots win the Super Bowl and the Jets spend money.
Right? Like, this always happens. It seems like a cycle.
Jonathan Jones is a cornerback for the Patriots, who's restricted free agent. Those of you who don't know him, he's the guy who covered Tyreek Hill in the AFC Championship game.
Oh, okay.
So, here's what I'll tell you this right now. He better be back. He runs a 4-3-1. He better be back. He's a special teamer. He covers the speed guys in the slot. He plays great. We also have a guy named Duke Dawson. We didn't use in Florida. We'll use him next year. Cody Hollister gone. David Parry gone, and the other guy gone. So all these, the Patriots have their hands full, and what we're going to be looking for, and I think Julian can agree with me on this. I think the Patriots are really going to emphasize keeping their free agents than signing others. And
we'll see.
They're going to work on getting cap space. And then I'm going to say this right now. I think they're in play for a deep threat receiver. I think that's one thing they lack.
Without the whole Josh Gordon thing, everything hanging over your head with that, if he doesn't come back, you don't really have anyone on the outside. But again, you just won the Super Bowl without anyone on the outside, so maybe it's not as big a need as you think. I don't know.
And another thing this offseason is how we have to play out with the tight end situation.
Well, yeah, you got to see what's up with Gronk. So, all right, I'll just ask you now. What do you think? Do you think Gronk's coming back, or do you think he's done? I would love to see him leave. Personally, obviously, I don't want the Patriots to have anything good, so if he leaves, that would help dissemble their core a little bit. So I hope he does. Honestly, I have a gut feeling that he might stay one more time, but I could also see him leaving. It's like a 50-50 thing. It's a tough thing to call right now. You know better than me. What do you think he actually does?
Well, I'm going to say this. I think, last year took a toll on him, and this year took a physical toll on him, and I think he's going to think about that. But I haven't seen him this happy in a long time. And I'm going to tell you this. Don't be surprised if Brady already convinced him to stay one more year.
I'm sure he's going to try.
He's got one more year left on his deal. Why not play it out? Why not play out the last year of your deal? You have 3 rings, Gronk. You have 3. You have 3 rings, and 1 ring you didn't even have to play a snap to get.
Yeah.
So
he's only contributed to 2, really, if you think about it.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. That year he did contribute, but thanks to you guys, he got a ruptured disc in his back. So
nice.
I will say this right now. He's a 3-time Super Bowl champion. In my opinion, he's one of the best, if not the best tight end in football, and he's proven it not only when if he's not catching balls, he's blocking and doing an elite job.
That was what he seemed to excel at this year. Even when you phased him out of the passing game, he was still impacting the game with his blocking. So I think that there's 2 sides to this coin, obviously. like you said, he has a year left. You figure maybe Tom Brady goes next year. Maybe they both go together. One more year in the contract for Gronk. Maybe he wants to honor it. The only other part of this scale is he has been injured a lot. Basically, every part of his body has an injury. I'm sure you know that better than I do. And he was limping after that play in the first quarter. We're definitely talking about that. His longevity.
His quad.
Yeah, his longevity might be more important than getting another year because we can both agree with this that Gronkowski's going to walk into Canton whether or not he decides to play anymore. He's already solidified himself as the Hall of Famer.
You agree that he is a Hall of Famer?
Yeah, I agree that he is because he's one of the best tight ends I've ever seen. And even if the bulk stats don't equal that, you know the impact he had when he was healthy and all the stuff he's accomplished. I think it's a different case than Edelman, which we'll get to later. But I just wanted to recap the game quickly before we get into all the final stuff for the off-season talk. So,
okay.
The first quarter was the only thing I liked about this game, honestly. I'm going to be real with you because I ended up winning my box. I had a 0-0 box in the first quarter, and since your boy Gostkowski missed that field goal, I preserved my 0-0, and I ended up winning the box. I paid for all my boxes and then some, so I actually did get something out of this game, as bad as it was, at least. I won the first quarter, but after that, it was all downhill, man.
Yeah.
It just wasn't a good night for me, let's put it that way. Because then, in the second quarter, you had Gostkowski kick that field goal, put them up 3-0 with around 10 minutes left. Then the Rams, just lifeless, had about 9 punts in the first half, I want to say. Wasn't it like 8 or 9 straight punts at one point the Rams had?
It was like something like that.
It was unwatchable. That's what it was. It was one of the most boring Super Bowls I've ever seen. I'm sure you somewhat agree, even though they won. To me, this was the second worst Super Bowl I've ever watched behind the Broncos and Seahawks game, because nothing can ever be worse than that game. I don't care how bad it is. That game was over in the first quarter.
Yeah.
It was over when the Seahawks stepped on the field, basically. The Broncos wanted no part of them. But back to this game. So we go into halftime. It's 3-0. I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Rams can get some life. The Patriots shut the Chiefs out the week before, then they woke up. So I'm thinking, okay, maybe the Rams will wake up. Maybe we'll have a decent football game. But that was not to be the case at all.
No.
In the third quarter, the Rams tied it up, gave me some hope. Except it was a field goal, 3-3. So with 2 minutes left in the third, it took the Rams 2 minutes until the third quarter to even get a field goal on the board. A freaking field goal. Not even a touchdown, not even a red zone appearance. A field goal. 3-3 at the end of 3 quarters. And it was unbelievably unbearable, like I've already stated. So then you have, of course... And you have the fourth, and of course the Patriots get that drive. You were just waiting for them to get. Like, we all knew it was coming. It was just a matter of when, not if. So then Brady throws a couple passes down. Gronkowski makes a really nice play down by the goal line, which basically seals the fate of the Rams for that drive. Michelle would run it in, I want to say a play or two later. Was it the next play? Like, was it right away after that Gronk catch and Michelle ran it in?
He ran it in right after that.
Okay, yeah. So right after Gronk made that nice catch, and it was 10-3 Patriots with around 7 minutes left. So at this point, I'm like, damn, this is not a good situation because even if the Rams come down and tie it up, you guys will get the ball last most likely. So at this point, I'm thinking I'm screwed. And unfortunately, I was right, obviously. So, what happens is Goff makes a couple nice plays. They start moving the ball finally. Even Gurley had a nice run on this drive, but that's a whole other topic we'll get into after this game. But then they get to the 24-yard line. After Brandon Cooks had dropped a pass in the end zone that would have been a touchdown, of course, would have tied it up, but nope. What defender knocked it out of Cooks' hands?
That was Jason McCourty.
Okay, yeah, so... Goff throws a nice ball to Cooks. Could have caught it, but McCourty jars it loose. And then, I want to say, with 4 minutes left, a little over 4, I think around 4:24 around, that's when Goff had pressure. He got hit, it looked like, or something weird with his arm angle happened, and then he throws a dead duck to Gilmore right at him. As soon as that ball left his hand, I knew, most of the world knew, that Gilmore was going to get that interception.
Yeah.
That was just fate once it left his hands. So what exactly happened on that play? Did he get hit? There was pressure. Like, what caused that horrible throw?
Well, what caused that throw was the pressure by a safety blitz and Duron Harmon, and everyone knows the Patriots lost their one of the big guys in the secondary, Patrick Chung, to a broken arm in the start of the second half.
Right, I didn't even mention that, but that's a good point.
And Duron Harmon came in and played his heart out. And there was a safety blitz. He came in and almost got him. And he had to get the ball away and didn't set his feet. Threw it up, and Stephon Gilmore feasts on making big mistakes. And I'm going to be honest with you, he had such good positioning and it was great coverage. I think that even if he did get a time to throw, I think that was either getting picked off or batted out of Cook's hands again. So, it was a great play. Stephon Gilmore is always is one guy who is not all about him. He's not the Jalen Ramseys. He's not the Richard Shermans. He's in a league of his own in a way he plays. Stephon Gilmore is he's very selfless. He's not selfish. He lets the film speak. He's not all talk. He plays the game the way it's supposed to be played. It was a great play, and what we did right then and there is we went down and we were able to kick the go-ahead field goal to put us up 10 points, and it was great. So
yeah, at that point, once they kicked the field goal, all hope is lost. Even if the Rams somehow went down, got it scored, got an onside kick, like you knew that stuff wasn't going to happen, especially against the Patriots, because that stuff doesn't happen to them.
Yeah.
So then the Zerline line finished the job off with a missed field goal just to seal the Rams' fate, just to make sure nothing crazy could happen. He missed the field goal, and that was that. The Patriots scored just 13 points, but it was more than enough. The Rams should be embarrassed and ashamed. That was a pathetic performance by all fronts, except their defense actually played well and kept them in it. So I will say their defense deserves credit. And if you try to say the one drive, they let up one drive the whole game. Like, the offense needs to show up. Like, you have to know they're going to give up something. The defense did everything they could to keep that porous offense in it for as long as they did. So no slander on the Rams' defense. This is all about the offense. McVay got outclassed, embarrassed, fooled, whatever you want to call it. He just looked like he didn't belong on the field with Belichick. Belichick undressed him at every stop. McVay had no answers, no halftime adjustments, literally nothing. He just got stonewalled. Now, the only thing that I don't know, what happened to Todd Gurley? That's what we need to talk about now. Because that was a big part of the reason why the Rams looked so out of sorts to me. They just didn't have it in sync. I know against the Saints they played better and he only had 4 yards, but it just looked like him being out of sync kind of just like shot the whole morale of the Rams offense to me. Like, did you see that too?
Yeah, I did. It was Todd Gurley, he claims he's healthy, but
I'm not buying it.
But it shows otherwise. I mean, he ran pretty hard, but he got stonewalled a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Patriots, one thing that Todd Gurley likes to do, he likes to run up the middle. And the Patriots took that away.
Yeah.
And then why wouldn't you try to run outside? When they tried to run outside, they had a few runs where it was successful. But no. But McVay, you said it. Julian, you made a great point. The Patriots, what they do is they make halftime adjustments every game.
They always do.
They change their identity every week. And the Rams, what they did is they just came out and said, no, we're just going to,
try to do the same crap that didn't work before.
And the Patriots...
Smart plan, Rams.
Literally the first play of the second half, the Patriots almost picked it off.
I know, that's when I saw. I was like, oh, great, this is the type of half we're going to have now. I was like, this is what happens after you get a full half. The first play almost gets intercepted and really should have been, like you said. Hightower dropped the pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he should have had it, obviously. And the Rams looked out of sorts the whole time. Even though he dropped it, they just never got back on track. But where were you going?
What I was going to say is, it seems to me the Patriots won the Super Bowl before it even started.
It looked like that almost.
I think that the Rams I think the Rams came in here very arrogant, as you could see. They said that Tom Brady's beatable, and what happened? He proved he wasn't.
Yeah, although I'll say...
No, he did not play a good game by any means necessary. Coming off a Super Bowl where he threw for 505...
This was not that, Soup. This was not that. This was a completely different story.
But he didn't need it. His defense took care of it.
To that point, you're right. He did what he had to. Was he great? No, not by any means. Probably one of the more pedestrian games I've seen him play, to be honest. But they still got it done because, like he said, the defense was there. He really just managed the game, did what he had to, made that one drive. And that one pick he had... was a really bad pick. I was surprised by that play, honestly.
In the beginning.
Yeah, I was really stunned to see that. And then I think the Rams, didn't they drop a pick too? Wasn't there a chance for him to get a second one or something?
Oh, yeah, with Peters. Throw to Hogan again.
Yes, there we
go.
But
can I tell you something? Marcus Peters...
He's not that good.
No, he's not.
I've also said in the past.
No, he's not. He's not that good. And the one thing, Aqib Talib, I said he was going to be a factor. Patriots threw at him and had a lot of success.
Yeah.
And that guy, Nickel Roby Coleman, running his mouth.
Edelman schooled him, which we knew was going to happen.
And listen, Nickel Roby Coleman, the Rams, I'm going to tell you this. You guys have a free agent coming up, LaMarcus Joyner, your safety, who was a complete no-show in the Super Bowl. You guys better bring him back and get rid of Nickel Roby Coleman, because Nickel Roby Coleman in that secondary is a liability, not an asset.
He obviously should have been flagged in the NFC Championship game.
And what did the Chiefs do? The Chiefs won that trade with Marcus Peters, by the way. They won it, getting rid of the problem.
Oh, yeah.
And giving it to the Rams. Marcus Peters is just proven all he is just all talk. When it comes to the big games, he does not show up.
No, I don't he's not that good. I agree.
And you know what? Aqib Talib is a guy who, you know what? He talks, but he lets his play talk. Listen, Jules, don't be surprised if Aqib Talib, he's out of here soon. Don't be surprised.
You think the Rams might cut him?
No, they're not going to cut him.
Trade
Absolutely
him?
not. No. I think he's going to retire soon.
You think he's going to walk
I give it a year.
How old is Talib now?
He's like almost 31 or 32, I think.
He's getting up there a little bit. He's been well-traveled. So, let's look at this impact on two different things. So, we know the Rams the Patriots won. How is this going to impact the Rams moving forward? Because I think you hit something on the head here. It reminds me of like when that team makes the playoffs and they're just happy to be there, kind of. That's what it looked like, the Rams. It looked like they were just happy to be in the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Like they weren't ready to actually play the game. And it was very obvious that early on that they were not ready to play at all.
Yeah.
The Patriots have been there and done that. They know what to do. They know everything with the Super Bowls. They have the experience. Brady's been in 9 of them. You know the whole spiel with the Patriots. They're always ready to play in the playoffs. Yep. The Rams were just happy to be there. The moment was too big for them. They were not ready. They didn't make the adjustments. The guys on offense did nothing. The only thing that gives them some leeway, in my opinion, is that Todd Gurley wasn't himself.
No.
That's the only pass I'll give the Rams offense. But other than that, they get no pass from me whatsoever because that was a train wreck. Jared Goff was not ready. The lights were too bright for him. 19-38, 50%, 1 pick, quarterback rating of 58, just horrible all around. And then Gurley only had 10 rushes for 35 yards. I'm sorry, but that's not the Todd Gurley I know. That's not the Todd Gurley you know or anyone in the NFL knows. So, and C.J. Anderson only had 7 for 22, so much for him being a Patriot killer. And guess how many catches these guys had? 1 for -1 yard. So the impact they made was nothing. Literally, they did nothing. It was absolutely horrible.
Patriots' game plan was take away the running backs and make Goff beat you, and that's exactly what he did, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, you're right. And I give them credit. Their defensive game plan was great. They couldn't do a thing. And you hit it right in the head. That was their plan, and that worked to perfection. So now we get into a topic of debate that I've been teasing with Bobby all day, actually. Is Julian Edelman a Hall of Famer?
Oh, here we go.
No, absolutely not. Okay, look, he had a great playoff run. He's won 3 Super Bowls. I think one of them... No, he has won 3. He's won 3. He's been on the active roster for all 3 of them, right? Because the one he wasn't in, you guys lost.
Yeah.
So he's a 3-time champion. Okay, he's an MVP. Okay, but you can't just start throwing everyone into the Hall of Fame just because they're good in the playoffs. I mean, look at it. Edelman only has under 500 catches, 499. He just has 5,400 yards, a little under, and just 30 touchdowns his career. Just 30. And Randy Moss had 20 in one season, and this guy has 30 for his career. What was that record Moss had? 23, I want to say?
Yeah.
Okay, so for reference, Edelman just has 7 more touchdowns than Randy Moss had in one season. That's ridiculous that we're even talking about this. I understand he's a great playoff guy, but you have to have that body of work in the regular season. He's not even a Pro Bowler. He hasn't even made a Pro Bowl. I mean, Dwayne Beauford is my comparison. It's 537 catches, over 7,000 yards and 44 touchdowns. I know he didn't do anything in the playoffs, but he hasn't even considered Hall of Fame he has not come nowhere close to the Hall consideration, or should he? And Edelman, I think, could get those numbers. It's not too far of a cry, but I have to see more from him in the regular season before I put him in the Hall of Fame.
Sorry.
I just do.
Sorry, I'm a little bit tired of haters. Okay, I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't understand why you don't get it. Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer.
He is not a Hall of Famer.
Julian Edelman is 3-time Super Bowl champion.
I know.
Julian Edelman is. Let me explain something to you about Julian Edelman. Julian Edelman is a guy, when you need something done, he gets it done. Look, I don't want to hear the comparisons to Wes Welker, okay? Wes Welker and him were two different guys. Oh, and by the way, when you need to make the catches in the Super Bowl, he makes them. I'm going to make that argument all the time.
Yeah, that's true.
I will tell you this. You need to see more in the regular season. In my opinion, if you're going to say postseason you need to see more in the regular season, then don't put Eli Manning in the Hall of Fame.
All right, that's a hot topic.
Here's the thing. Eli Manning does nothing in the regular season. He leads the league in interceptions every year, and you agree with me.
Yeah.
He sucks. He's garbage. Sorry, Ryan Kennelly. So, he sucks.
Wonder if we'll get to see this.
So, okay? Mm-hmm. And my dad, who's behind here, probably can't hear me. Eli sucks, okay? He won 2 Super Bowls because of 2 lucky plays at the expense of of my team.
That's
right now, the Patriots right now should have 1 loss in this. I'm not getting into it, okay? Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer. You're a 3-time Super Bowl champion. You contribute in the playoffs. You are second to Jerry Rice in postseason receptions. That is a check off the list for Hall of Fame. You will have 3 rings. There's another one. Sorry, he only has 30 touchdowns. And why are we talking about him being compared to Randy Moss? They are 2 different receivers. Randy Moss was a physical specimen. Randy Moss,
I know,
but was the guy who go deep. He catches everything. Julian Edelman is that guy who's going to go over the middle. He's going to make the short catches and get it yards after the catch. So listen, Julian Edelman is a Hall of Famer.
Nope.
In my eyes. You could say no all you want. He's a Hall of Famer, and look, he's going to make it, okay?
I don't know. We'll see. That's to be determined for me. But, okay, let's talk about Wes, since you brought up Wes. And I know you don't like Wes. Well, I understand why, he screwed you in the Super Bowl.
Look, I love Wes Welker, but he's a jinx. He's never won he's been to the Super Bowl 3 times, and he's never won.
Wow. Okay, so he has 900 catches, for reference, and he has almost 10,000 yards, 9,900, and he has 50 touchdowns in comparison to Edelman. I know Edelman destroys him in the postseason, obviously, and I think he's a better Patriot than Welker was because of all that, but my point is that I need to see more consistency in the regular season. I want to see more 1,000-yard seasons. At least give me a couple 1,000-yard seasons before I throw you in there. Maybe at least get me close to 50 touchdowns if I'm going to put you in. I just don't. The only reason I brought up Randy Moss, I know they're 2 different receivers. It's just my point was how pathetic the touchdown total was. Is that because Moss had that many in a season? I know Moss is way better, but 30 touchdowns in almost 8 or 9 seasons is not too great, no matter how you slice it.
So, with Julian Edelman, I'm going to defend my guy through thick and thin. The guy is a complete game changer for the Patriots. He's always open. He gets those extra yards after the catch. He's tough to bring down. And you know what, Julian? He has better. I'm sorry, he has better hands than Welker did.
Yeah, he really does. I agree. Also, and it's funny that I'm bashing Julian because I am Julian, but I just don't like the Patriots, obviously. But this case, I would make this case even if it wasn't a Patriot, though. It's not just a Patriot hate thing here. I just don't think he's done enough in the regular season to be considered for Hall of Fame. And the Eli debate's a touch different because He's a quarterback, so quarterbacks get more leeway in other positions. And also, he does have some good numbers over time. Like, his touchdown passes, I think he may rank 8th. Like, his yards are kind of a lot. I know, like, overall the picks and the quarterback rating isn't pretty with him.
You could thank Odell Beckham for a majority, getting him to that point so quickly, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, Odell was only there for the end, though. I mean, Eli did some stuff before Odell. And I'm not the biggest Eli apologist by any means. You know that. But I think he's Hall of Fame worthy, though. Even with, maybe not without the Super Bowls, but he's Hall of Fame worthy regardless.
He's always one of the top players with interceptions. I mean, come on.
It's just the yards and touchdowns, though. They speak for himself. It's the body of work, And if he didn't win the Super Bowl, so I feel different about him, I might. But he did win them, so it's just a different comparison.
Yeah, but he won them. And when was the last time he was in the playoffs? That was like 8 years ago.
Well, no, they were in it 3 years ago.
So,
Two, actually. No. But it was just a quick exit. That's why you forget about it. It was when they lost to the Packers. But it was a very brief appearance, to your point. It wasn't like anything to write home about. They haven't done anything of significance since they won that Super Bowl in 2012. You're right. So, all right, let's move on with that. Enough with that. That's a debate for another day. So let's go on to some off-season topics. We're going to explore more. Got some dates here for some interesting stuff going on. So the thing we can start looking at first is February 19th. Teams can start franchise tagging their players, and they can use transition tags, which the Steelers might use on Lev Bell, which I really hope they don't. We'll get into that in a second. Then the NFL Combine, where teams can start to look. Actually, no, the 26th to the 26th of February to the 4th of March is the Combine for the NFL. So you can start to look at the draft. You can see the players. Try to get some scouting ideas where you want your players picked, what positions you're looking for, who stands out, who's a flop, all that good stuff. So after that, you have the legal tampering period, our favorite period. Yep. March 11th is when you can start to see agreements made before they're official, but they're made behind the scenes. Like Bobby was talking with the Jets with Fowler, maybe. Who knows? We'll see if that thing happens, but that'll depend on who gets franchised, who's out there for us in the pass rushing capacity. I think I meant capacity, but pass rushing capacity for what we need. Yeah, sure. So anyway, yeah, I kind of botched that. But regardless, you get it. And then the 13th of March is officially the free agent season. Yes, the new league year begins. This is when you're going to see stuff happen officially, not all speculation, although the speculated stuff becomes official 9 times out of 10 with the tampering period. Very rarely do you see something get botched with that. So the 12th is a big day for the Steelers because if they want to trade Antonio Brown, they have to do it before the new league year, apparently, is what has been reported. So they will look to trade Brown by the 12th if he does get traded,
he will.
Which puts me to my next topic, the next story. Of course, some more news about AB. What happened with AB that just popped up on our radar, brother?
Well, he got popped for domestic violence. He was not arrested, but he's being investigated for it. And you know what? There's this guy.
A lot of red flags.
You know what? It's really crazy how this guy was, in my opinion, the best wide receiver in football. So productive, and he's just a diva. He's just a pure definition. He's a clown. He's a distraction in the locker room.
He's late to meetings. Don't forget about that.
He thinks he's better than everybody.
Yeah, he's on his own. He's on his own schedule.
Listen to me.
Basically.
Let me explain something.
Business is not booming, AB.
No. Let me tell you something. You see Julio Jones missing meetings?
No, that's my boy, the best receiver in the game.
You see Nuke Hopkins missing meetings?
No.
You see,
or dropping footballs? No.
Listen, the things with you see Odell Beckham. Odell Beckham was a clown, but is he hitting women? No.
He's not as... Yeah, I was about to say, Antonio Brown's like Odell 2.0. He's like more Odell. He's like over-the-top Odell.
Yeah.
Odell's not as crazy as this. As much as people like to poke fun at him for his
who doesn't get talked to? Do you see Mike Evans doing this?
No.
No.
Not a thing. How about Michael Thomas?
No.
None of them. No one else does this, but AB.
And also, he's jealous of Juju Smith-Schuster.
Yes, it's very obvious. Yes. It's painfully obvious at this point that he doesn't like to coexist with another good receiver. But
honestly, if that was
Juju's a complete opposite. He wants him.
Juju is... Have you noticed Juju's not selfish, too? No. Juju loves playing with AB.
And he even wants Bell back, which is a whole other story.
No. Well, can't wait to see that debacle. Well, Jamal Adams and him are really becoming buddy.
Yeah.
Jamal Adams said so. He said that.
What did he say?
He said on Twitter. He said, Jamal Adams, you're funny.
I saw that. Yeah.
And he said, oh, you would have fun in New York. And he said, shh, keep it quiet.
I kind of like that. Maybe something's brewing for us. We'll see.
But look, he made that comment about the Jets. He wouldn't sign for $100 million. But you guys.
But times have changed.
But the thing is, too, I saw something. Don't be surprised if the Houston Texans make a run.
I saw that too. What was that I saw pop up? It was on U Stadium. What were people saying about the Texans and Bell? Tell me something with this?
They think that they could go after him because Lamar Miller. Don't be surprised if Lamar Miller gets cut.
He's all right. I mean, he's a 1,000-yard rusher, like 6 to 8 touchdowns at best. That's what Lamar Miller is, really.
But he's
an average running back.
If they get Le'Veon Bell, that's a huge upgrade for that
What's
offense.
their cap situation? I don't know if you know, but is this plausible for them to do?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully they don't.
Listen, this is not their number one priority. Their priority is bringing back one man, Clowney.
Yeah, hopefully they don't do that either, but that's a whole other story. Yeah. So, with the AB trade front, you've already told me what you think, but why don't you tell the listeners? How do you think the AB's situation gets resolved?
Easy, plain simple. He gets traded. He wants a fresh start. The Steelers want to get rid of get the cancer, stop letting that cancer spread. Even though his production he's one of the best, if not the best receiver in football. And I'm going to tell you this. You know where he'll go? He's going to go to San Fran. If he wants to play for the 49ers. The 49ers need receivers. It makes too much sense for me. They'll give up and for.
What do you think the return will be? I was going to ask you. What
it will be in my opinion, a first round pick.
Oh, you still think it's a first, even with all this stuff going on with the huge cap hit? Actually, the Steelers get hit. The 49ers don't get hit this year.
I'll tell you what. The 49ers always have money. And what better way to draw more people into Levi Stadium than to get Le'Veon Bell? And
you mean AB, not Bell?
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry. Antonio Brown. And you know who would be lobbying for this? Jimmy Garoppolo.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because Jimmy Garoppolo would love somebody like this. I can tell you right now, it makes too much sense. San Fran makes too much sense. He knows it. They know it. John Lynch, who's the GM of the 49ers, he'll make something happen. The Steelers get back a nice return. The number one receiver is Juju, and their second is James Washington. That's pretty good if you ask me. And they still got Ryan Switzer in there. The Steelers have a bright future. I think the 49ers, they get him. They're going to have to deal with his nonsense, but they'll figure it out.
So they're going to have to.
Yep. So that's all.
Happens.
That's all. The cap hit is huge. But it is what it is. So
yeah, but don't the Steelers have to pay that? If they don't trade him before the new league year, is that what the deadline is? I'm guessing like something like that.
No. The Steelers are going to have to take a huge dead money hit, like $13 or $14 million.
Although the only thing is that if they get rid of Lev Bell, they get relieved of like $14 million. I think so. It's not as big as you would think on the surface, I guess.
Here's the thing: you lose 2 players, you get a big cap. You get relieved in cap space, and then you get to start over.
Yeah,
basically. And Mike Tomlin is on a thin leash, and I think he knows
he's on
that.
the hot seat for sure. If they don't make the playoffs, he's out, right?
In my opinion, he makes the playoffs. They don't make it to the Super Bowl. He's out.
Oh, you think it's that hot?
I'm very critical of Mike Tomlin. I think Mike Tomlin's a slapdick coach. That's what he is.
Yeah, he's too into his players.
With that offense, you had Le'Veon Bell and Antonio Brown.
Don't let the inmates run the asylum. Yes. That's what he's done.
Yes.
Let's put it that way.
Bill Belichick brings in troubled people, and what do? They buy into the system and win rings.
Except Josh Gordon.
Well, Josh Gordon made a mistake, and he even came out. Look, listen, if he's reinstated, you know where he's going to go.
I know you guys will get him back if everything checks out, but okay, enough with him. We're good. So, AB gets traded, let's say, to the 49ers. Imagine him and George Kittle together. Oof, that'd be some combination.
Yeah.
You don't even need the other wideouts at that point. The other guys are just like secondary
and
guys. They'll just be so open because all the attention will be at AB and
look at what they're getting back from the running back. Jerick McKinnon and Matt Pareto. That's a great one.
Yeah. So, all right. So enough with that. Now, the next topic, we talked about this before. We've talked about it in a Super Bowl show, too, actually. Eli Manning and the Giants is another big storyline. I saw reports today that they expect him to be the starter. Did you see those?
Yeah, I saw that.
So, to me, it appears that here's what's going to happen, in my opinion. The Giants are going to take Haskins 6th overall. I'm going to tell you right now that's what's going to happen. I can't see any other way this shakes out, really. Unless someone jumps them to get him, maybe. Because it said that It was very specific word, and that makes me think that their plan is to draft a quarterback because it said they won't pursue another quarterback through free agency or a trade, but it did not say they won't draft another quarterback.
No, it's inevitable. Dwayne Haskins is their guy. It's inevitable.
I would imagine so, unless something else happens.
And this is Eli's last year with them. He's on a thin leash, and don't be surprised.
Is this the last year in his contract, too?
Yes.
Oh, so this is really it for Eli.
They need somebody. Kyle Luletta, Mr. DWI, is not the answer.
No, he's not.
And
I think we all agree on
I
that.
think the Patriots dodged a bullet not getting him, don't you think?
Yeah, I guess it looks like it. But, all right, so Eli, let's say he stays for another year, which seems very obvious at this point, and they draft Dwayne Haskins. Do you think this is the type of situation that Eli mentors Haskins and they hand the keys over to Haskins, or do you think, like, if somehow Haskins lights the world up, that they would let him start right away?
I think it's going to be like a Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City type
situation.
situation.
So you think he's just going to hold the clipboard for a year?
Yeah.
Unless the Giants fall out, maybe they want to see what they have.
Unless the Giants fall out, or unless Eli is just turning the ball over.
Yeah.
So
I think they might try to reload with Eli again. Maybe try to fix the line again for like the millionth time.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know what that was looking like. So I guess they're going to try to go with Eli one more. Maybe draft a kid. So that'll be an interesting story for the Giants. Now, in the tri-state area, we have tons of storylines with the offseason. The Giants have that whole thing with Eli, and then the Eagles, you have the whole Foles and Wentz situation. It's already been reported that Foles is on his way out, but the way he gets out seems to be very complicated. So, Bobby, what's going on with Foles? How's he going to get out?
Sure.
Who's getting him, you think? And will the Eagles trade him? And if they do, what's the return going to be?
Sure. So, it was reported 2 days ago on the Super Bowl, the Eagles plan to pick up his $20 million option.
I saw that. I was surprised by that.
And trade him, so am I. And what they're going to do is, there's going to be a lot of suitors for him. They will not keep him. To pick up his option, that was just, you know what?
To get value for the trade.
To get value for the trade. And it's a third rounder. They know that.
I saw that too.
They're going to ask for a third rounder.
They're locked in with a third. Like it's not going to be anything better or anything worse. It's just going to be a straight up third.
You will not get anything better than a third rounder
for him. Because the cap hit,
He's
right?
30 years old.
30
years old.
And $20 million.
And $20 million. And I'm going to tell you,
you're going to have to redo his deal too.
It's going to be a team with a lot of cap space that needs a quarterback, in my opinion, and it's inevitable. I think he goes to Jacksonville. I think it makes too much sense.
There's only one issue with that.
What's that?
They don't have any cap space. How are they going to clear that
Well,
space?
they got cap space, but you know what? They'll clear the space.
No, they don't have any.
No.
That's what I'm saying. I think they have negative, actually. Aren't they $3 million over the cap right now?
Well, no.
Or are they $3 million under? They're barely. They're not in a good spot wherever they are.
No, what they'll do is there's a way that they can pick up Foles and they can work out his deal.
Mm-hmm.
And they have players that they're going to get rid of to give them more money. Like Malik Jackson was a lot of money.
That's the first one I saw. He's definitely
don't be surprised Marcel Darius gets let go. You're going to see the Jaguars are not trending up. They're trending down.
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure Steve isn't too
oh, God. But anything is better than Blake Bortles, and Blake Bortles will be picked.
Yeah, that's true. Blake Bortles is bummed.
Here's the thing. In Jacksonville, I could see Blake Bortles going to Miami, though, for some unknown reason.
You know, that can make some sense because they're like trying to tank, sort of, so he's a good guy.
And Ryan Tannehill's out the door, so.
I can see us getting him to be our backup, honestly. I don't know why I see this happening. Like, everyone's trying to put that narrative, and it does make sense, kind of, because he knows Gase's system. We need a decent backup for Darnold if McCann walks away. I mean, I could kind of connect those dots. I mean, it's whatever. He's a backup quarterback. I wouldn't complain about that.
So you're going to trust Ryan Tannehill with your future if Darnold gets hurt?
Well, just for a little bit, maybe. Hopefully Darnold doesn't get hurt, though. Because that's one thing we need. We need good, healthy quarterback play from our young guy. Yeah. So, speaking of that, you just segued me. Well, actually... All right, Flores and the Dolphins, we might as well get to that. We talked about this a little bit. We were just talking about the Dolphins. So, 2 coaches on the Super Bowl, on the staffs, have new jobs as soon as the game ended. Literally, as soon as it ended, you get the alerts that Flores and the Dolphins have agreed to
a 5-year deal, yeah.
And that the Bengals and Zach Taylor have agreed to their deal. And honestly, It's very simple which one was the better hire. It's clearly the Dolphins and Flores. I'm not sure what Taylor is going to do. He had a cup of coffee with Sean McVay. Literally a cup of coffee with him. Was the quarterback's coach for one season. Now the Bengals think this 35-year-old can run the franchise. More power to him. I don't see this going well at all. It's the Bengals.
I'm going to tell you this. Brian Flores was a steal of a hire from Miami, and kudos to them. And unfortunately, you and I are going to have to deal with the guy for the next 5 years, every 2 games.
Yeah.
2 games a year. Twice a year. I will tell you this, Brian Flores, we all know what he brings to the table. His defense is going to be extremely physical. He changed the Patriots' defense for the better. I obviously did not want to see him go. I wish he would have Josh McDaniel'd the Dolphins.
Of course you do.
And listen, you know.
He did great for you guys.
No, absolutely.
All kidding aside.
And you know what? He went out a champion. He's taking on a team that's a clown show down there. And you know what? I wish him nothing but luck, except against us.
Or us.
Yeah. Well,
I wish him luck against you guys.
I wish him luck against you guys too.
So there you go.
Brian Flores, if you hear everybody around the league, everybody loves him. Not one person has something negative. He's a very hands-on coach. He's a excuse my language. He takes no bullshit, and he's going to be different. He's not going to be a Bill Belichick disciple that fails. He's going to be one that succeeds.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. Since I know you're Brian, not... I think you know about the BB disciples. I'll take your word if you say you won't fail, because I know there's been bad ones. Go back. I just like that point.
So I will say this, Brian Flores, I wish you nothing but success. Thank you for a great year with the defense. You know, we were up and down, but you know what? You made this defense the reason why we're Super Bowl champions. So thank you. I wish you luck. And, you know, I think Zach Taylor, you get a cup of coffee with McVay, and you're going to be a head coach. And the quarterback position played terrible in the Super Bowl, which is what he coached. So I'm going to tell you this. Zach Taylor, you're inheriting a quarterback who's legitimately a clown. And you agree with me, Andy Dalton. And you know what?
Dalton is garbage. Do I hate Andy Dalton? Man, I hate Andy Dalton. Mediocre at best is putting it mild. This is a nice compliment to Andy Dalton at this point, I think. Mediocre is what he thrives in. He never shows up in a big game, and I don't see him doing anything with Zach Taylor at all.
Only thing?
Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry.
The Bengals need to cut the cord with Dalton. I think they should do it sooner rather than later, but they're going to be stupid and give him another season, and then they'll see they need to cut the cord with him, because I guarantee you right now, I will put any money on this table that Andy Dalton is not a Bengal next year, or if he is, he's their backup quarterback after next season. Dalton will not be their starter in 2020. There's no way.
Wow.
I'm telling you right now.
So I will tell you this. I think that he does suck as well. but what Zach Taylor is inheriting is he's inheriting a offense that has potential. You have AJ Green, who's a top 5 receiver. You have John Ross.
I don't know anymore.
You have John. Don't be surprised. I was going to say this. You might call me crazy. Don't be surprised if they get offered trades, and they might accept it.
AJ Green's a trade candidate. I agree.
And can I be honest with you?
He might jet up.
No, he might. I think he fits with New England. I think that that's something New England would.
I think he should jet up.
The problem is he gets injured too much.
Yeah, he is, and he's older too.
And the thing is too. Look, I'll tell you this right now, man. He's inheriting Tyler Boyd.
Yeah.
John Ross.
Joe Mixon.
There
are some nice pieces
on the offense,
but Dalton is not a nice piece.
No. And I think this year they will draft a quarterback. I do.
Oh, so you think they will realize that they're wrong and they're going to try to correct it? But, this is probably a 2nd or 4th round pick. They're not going to do it in the 1st round, probably.
No, not at all.
I wouldn't be stunned if they draft a quarterback either. It makes sense, honestly, because, you said, we both agree that Dalton's not the answer, and I think they should have some pause about him, too, honestly, because he's a mediocre quarterback. He does okay in the regular season. He'll have good moments. He'll play good games, but he'll have his bad games. He'll throw his picks. Is he ever going to have an amazing upper echelon season? No, not even in the regular season. He's never been a top-tier quarterback. And in the playoffs, he hasn't won any playoff games, so there's nothing more to say about that.
No. So, he's a choke artist when it comes to...
exactly. That's what you could say.
So... That's the state of the coaches right now. I think out of all the coaches that were hired, I think the Miami Dolphins hired the best one, and I think you could agree.
Whoa, all right, that's a interesting take. I hope my guy is the best of Adam Gase. My favorite hire was actually Arians for the Bucks, I think.
Oh well, he's going to change that team around, and I'm going to tell you that you're going to see them use the running back position, and Ronald Jones will be used. And
Joe, come back, baby.
But I'm going to say this real quick: don't be surprised if Le'Veon Bell goes to the Buccaneers.
That is a dark horse. I really hope that doesn't happen for two reasons. First of all, I want us to get him, and the second one, Ronald Jones would be dead if they get him. So I don't want him. Him on the Bucs would be a nightmare for me.
The way Bruce Arians used a running back is what David Johnson. That's why he was so successful.
Right.
And you see now why David Johnson's hasn't been anything for the past 2 years. He was injured and he came back. And
I also think there's some scheming, there's some bad coaching that contributes to DJ.
I think they need to move on from him, and he needs to go somewhere else.
Whoa! You want DJ off the Cardinals? Interesting.
No, I think he deserves to go somewhere better.
They were talking about the Eagles. That would have been a dope fit, honestly.
No, I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear.
The Eagles' offense would have been nice with David Johnson, no question about that. Because they are missing a running game, the Eagles. That's the one thing they don't have. They have the good receivers. Wentz is good, even though Foles has been better at times. Wentz is still a great quarterback, obviously. So, if they had a good running back, that could be a difference maker for them.
Yeah,
that's why I still think they're dark horses for Le'Veon Bell. I'm not sure if they have the cap space to acquire Bell, but I'm sure they've talked about it before, and they would maybe try to get creative if they could. So, we're almost done here, but I just want to tell you one big storyline that me and Bobby are going to be on this whole offseason, but I think I'm going to try to lead this discussion because it's a Jets offseason discussion. This is the biggest offseason we've had in a decade. I'm going to flat out say that right now. I think it's our biggest offseason since we first hired Rex Ryan to be our head coach. You have all the cap space in the world. We've seen this movie before, and they don't spend it wisely. So I hope this time they've learned from their mistakes. We don't have another Jermaine Johnson on our hands or Darrelle Revis the second time, which was not a pretty situation. A lot of bad overpays, which is I understand we're gonna have to overpay to get certain players. I do. I just don't want it to be every single guy we sign is an overpay. That's what I don't want. But this is the biggest offseason in a decade because we haven't made the playoffs in 8 years. It's time to fix that. I think every Jet fan wants to play up berth next year. I'm not okay with the 8-8, 9-7. No, we need to make the playoffs. Enough. It's been 8 years. I want to get back. No coming up short. No 10-6 last game. No, just make it. I don't care how it gets done. Just do it. So, we need to address our defense. We need ends. We could use some corners probably because I doubt we're retaining screens
receivers
or Mo Claiborne. Yes, receivers. We do need receivers.
Running back position and offensive line.
Offensive line. Listen, that's the whole football team we just named basically, except the quarterback and the safety position. Because you still could use a D tackle probably, and especially now since we're switching to the 4-3. So that is what the Jets need to handle. They have almost $100 million in cap space to handle it.
Since they let go of Spencer Long, you have over $100 million.
Yes, now
you have like 105.
Have over $100 million, and we could get around $3 to $5 million more with the Isaiah Crowell cut, which I expect to happen as well. So even more cap space in that situation. So I guess I'm going to ask you a couple questions about some players.
Sure.
I'm going to say, should we keep them or dump them?
Okay.
Robbie Anderson's name has come up in trade discussions if we were to somehow acquire AB, but that is out the window now, I'm assuming, and I'm sure you agree with me. Robbie needs to stay with us. We can't send him anywhere. I think that would be stupid. We need wide receivers. Why are you going to get rid of someone like him?
I agree, and Robbie Anderson really plays well with Sam Darnold.
Yes, they've developed some nice.
He's got speed. He's a deep threat, but listen, he could be a problem. You see, he gets in trouble. If you could clean him up, I think he's an asset. You guys did keep Quincy Enunwa, which was a good deal.
Yes, I like that.
So he stays. Next.
And then Jordan Jenkins, they said could be a cut to move because of the switch in the defenses. I'm not sure if he fits our 4-3 per se. They've also mentioned Darren Lee, but go to Jenkins first, then talk about Lee, I guess.
If it's between Jenkins and Darren Lee, who you get rid of Jordan Jenkins.
Oh, yeah.
I think Darren Lee, you guys drafted him in the first round.
I don't want him gone either.
You invested too much. You got to keep him in the middle.
I agree.
Move him to the middle of the field. He should sit. Well,
weak side linebacker they would play him at. That's what the new
and you
plan
also
would
have
be.
and you
Avery Williamson.
You have Avery Williamson, who's a signal caller. So
yeah. And so I think there was one more person. I'm trying to think who else. Well, there is Leonard Williams, obviously, but they said we're keeping him. So
Jordan Jenkins. Debate, really. Jordan Jenkins is a pass rusher. That's what he's meant there for, and you guys didn't use him like that.
I know we've had a lot of problems with pass rushers. We haven't been able to utilize some. Though Henry Anderson we did well with, but I think he's gone. Yeah. I don't think he fits our scheme.
What do you think's next?
That was one of them. I guess Henry Anderson, and those are basically the guys. Everyone else is really cut and dry. Like Isaiah Crowell's probably getting cut.
He needs to go. He's too inconsistent. He needs to get
cut. I agree. We need a real running back in here. So now my question is, with the draft, this cap space, everything going on, all the turnover on this roster, Sam Darnold year 2. I know you don't like to think about this, but if we do this properly, we draft a high-impact guy at 3, or maybe even trade back and get more picks, which is another question I'm going to ask you after I ask you this one. Do you think the Jets could turn around and become a playoff team again if everything goes well in the offseason?
I think that it's going to take some time, but you guys are a step in the right direction, which I don't like to talk about, but I'm a realist. I'm going to give credit where credit's due. You guys made it. You guys made the right choice drafting Darnold. He's your future.
Yeah.
I think with all this cap space, you guys learned from your mistakes twice.
So. That's what I really hope.
You made this mistake in 2015. You will not make this mistake again. So I think McCognon really
a lot of pressure on him.
It's if he gets this wrong again, he's out.
Fired. Yep. Yeah, you got to get rid of him. So if we don't make the playoffs, I think he should be fired. Honestly, in my opinion, but. That's just me, so we'll see what happens with that.
So, with that being said, I think you guys could turn it around, be a playoff team. But listen, the one thing you have to do is go through New England. That's the thing.
Yeah, I mean,
and you guys have done it before. You guys get
8 years ago, yeah.
So look, you guys are a step in the right directions. A lot of things are working out for you, but listen. It all looks good on paper, but if it all doesn't work out in the field, then we'll...
Yeah, I know. That's my worry that I have. Like, you can make great teams on paper. Remember the Eagles' dream team when all that came crashing? They were 7-9. And that was Vince Young home with his mouth. The backup quarterback was talking when he shouldn't have been, and he paid for it.
Yeah.
So, yes, like Bobby said, the Jets can make a great team on paper, but it needs to come together on the actual fields.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to have to see happen next year, because there's going to be a learning curve. All these guys are going to have to get used to each other. The defense is new with Greg Williams. The offense will have new play calling with new players. It's going to be quite a period for the Jets.
Yeah.
This is a huge story, though, because the Jets have to get this right. We've been waiting for too long. It's time to get things going in the right direction again. We all want to see New York sports become great again, and the New York Jets becoming relevant could be a big step in that happening.
Yeah.
So, let's see. I think that about wraps it up, honestly. Just one more thing, I guess, before we go.
Sure.
How do you think the Rams are going to rebound off this loss? How do you see next year going for them? How do you see their turnabout going? Andrew Whitworth said some asinine things after the game. I'm not sure what he was thinking.
He said something about we're all going to die one day and something like that.
I'm guessing he was like in a bad mood or something. Like he didn't handle that with grace.
Listen, it took him his whole career to get to the Super Bowl, and then you lose it in that kind of fashion.
Yeah, it's pretty embarrassing.
I'm going to tell you this. I think the Rams. They got a lot of work to do. They got a lot of free agents, and if Andrew Whitworth retires, they're in a lot of trouble.
Do you think he will? Because it made it seem like he will based off those comments.
I'll be honest. What I'm guessing. I'll be honest. You know what? He's up there. He was getting beaten up in the playoffs. I think he goes, and they're going to really have to
fix that spot.
Yeah. And also the Rams, they got to make some changes. Look, they got to, in my opinion, you got to get rid of Nick Roby-Coleman on the secondary.
Yeah.
And keep LaMarcus Joyner. That's your priority, and you better re-sign C.J. Anderson because that guy.
Yeah, I heard that they want to.
If Todd Gurley is hurt for the long haul, because the knee he injured is the one he tore the ACL he tore. Now I'm not saying he has an ACL injury. It's the knee that he tore in college the year he got drafted. And that's not good. Mm-mm. So, look, and people were saying, C.J. Anderson fits his team more than Todd Gurley. Listen, Todd Gurley makes his team.
That's very asinine. And speaking of asinine comments, I actually saw the most asinine one I think I've seen this whole year.
What's that?
I saw some bull crap, excuse my language, but that's what this was. That the Rams we're gonna cut bait with Jared Goff and sign Kirk Cousins in 2 years.
Don't believe
what
that.
The
That's
heck
what
was that? Like, who would even write that garbage? Like, who publishes that stuff? You can't even press that through the article. How do you even feel valid even sending that nonsense? Like,
listen,
that's just complete disrespect to Jared Goff.
I think
that's what that is.
Listen, Jared Goff is there for the long haul. They drafted him number 1 overall for a reason. They invested too much into him.
He's not going anywhere.
Look, the Rams are a great team, and they're going to be right back. They're going to bounce back. Sean McVay is too good of a coach. He got out-coached.
He's got to learn from this.
He's got to learn from it. And listen, he got out-coached by Bill Belichick. He didn't get out-coached by Rex Ryan or Adam Gase or something like that. He got out-coached.
Don't throw shade at my coaches.
All right, I'm sorry. He didn't get out-coached by, I don't know.
Marvin Lewis.
Yeah,
there
Marvin Lewis. So, look, I think that they're going to look at this as a building block. I think that, Sean McVay's already in the lab cooking up something,
I'm sure he is.
And you know what? The one thing with the Rams they got to do is they didn't have Cooper Kupp when they get him back.
That'll help too. I feel like that would open.
And
up
also another thing with the Rams, the one thing they got to do is I think that they're going to lose Dante Fowler. He's gone. There's a pass rusher gone.
I was just about to talk about.
They
Fowler.
have a chance to lose Ndamukong Suh. So if they lose Ndamukong Suh, all you have is Aaron
Wait,
Donald.
what was the deal with Suh? Was it a 1-year deal they signed for Suh?
1 year, $14 million. Yeah,
so he could be gone too. Maybe.
I think
he probably will be.
Listen,
I would guess.
Don't be surprised
because their cap's pretty hectic.
Don't
isn't
be
it?
surprised if he.
Jets.
Yeah, I hate to say.
I don't know if we would get him. At this
Actually,
point,
you know what? I take that back because he hated Adam Gase. So he.
Oh yeah. That
don't
be
surprised.
They actually said we tried to get him last year. I saw. Did you see that?
But he said no. He didn't even give you guys the time of day.
Right.
So.
But that won't happen.
You want to know where he goes? In my opinion, I could see him going to Indy. I really could. I could see.
Well, they have a ton of cap space. Yeah. So. All right. Well, I think that's.
Yeah, I think that wraps us up.
I'm Julian Gallardi.
I'm Bobby Thompson.
And we'll see you for basketball trade deadline. That's when we'll be back.
Yep. Go Patriots. Super Bowl champs. 6-time. Going for 7.
We'll be back next year. Jet up. Got to take this godforsaken jersey off. Ugh. Here you go, brother. Enough with that. Thank God.
Oh, have I missed you, Brady?
Thank God.
Jules, it's a big-ass jersey, right?